Hello and welcome to the Men's Roller Derby World Cup 2016. The next game that we are about to see is Sweden versus Mexico. Sweden will be playing in blue today, Mexico in red. Now, just so you know, the people playing today are competing for positions 9 through 12. The winners of this game, Sweden versus Mexico, will be playing for these positions tomorrow, and on these two particular tracks, we are actually going to have to listen to some national anthems.
These teams this weekend, and I cannot wait to see this matchup.
All right, and at this time, we would ask everyone to please stand, remove your headgear for the national anthem first of Mexico. Thank you. And now, the national anthem of Sweden. Thank you.
So here we are, Sweden versus Mexico on our third last game today in the Men's Roller Derby World Cup 2016. So as I said before, we are competing today for positions 9 through 12. The winners on the other track and the SISU track, that is our track right now, will be playing Sunday at 1 o'clock on the other track. The losers today will be playing at 3:15 tomorrow. 13:15, which is 1 p.m. 15 on the SISU track. That is our track right here. So our teams are being seated. The lineups are being chosen. Here they go, the 30 seconds. And just a quick intro. I am Noisy Legrand. I am here with...
I'm Bulldog. I can't believe you forgot my name
I
already.
didn't forget your name. That's not why I threw it. I thought I'd let Bulldog get a word in sideways there. Talking his ear off.
That's probably not going to be a problem.
It generally is not. So up on our Nerd Skate Shop jammer line, we have No Modesty Blaze and number 22 from Mexico. That is Rockstar, and he is indeed a rock star. If you want to give us a shout out on Twitter, that's hashtag MRDWC. We will read it out for you. Tell us what's going on, Bulldog.
Well, we have Sweden in the blue jerseys, Mexico in the red jerseys. No Modesty Blaze getting hit hard by Pablex. Pablex blocking very nicely at the back, joined up at the back by number 164. It's Carl LeFou of Mexico. Both jammers getting crammed by the respective defense, but Rockstar has the forward position. Blocker Watson on point for Team Sweden, comes across with a hip check, but Rockstar comes back in. Both defenses performing powerfully right now, though.
Absolutely. We saw yesterday Mexico play against Germany, and their defense was amazing. Their walls reconstructed so quickly, and they were so good. Whoa. Excuse me. That was an amazing attempt.
Well, that was a blocker, Michael C., not the jammer.
No. Who knew that blockers could fly?
That's right, but he still, of course, had to recycle. Blockers can get it cutting the track as well. A high block against Rod Juret, number 1. That's a mouthful.
That is indeed a mouthful. We still don't have a lead jammer, do we, Bulldog?
No, both jammers still on their initial pass. But Rockstar only has 2 blockers to contend with. That was Blocker Watson coming across with another screening hip check to take Rockstar out.
No Modesty Blaze is back against... No, he's got all 4 to contend with. Oh, look at that. We do indeed have a lead jammer. That is Rockstar from Mexico.
Only about 20 seconds left on the clock when he finally got out, but he will make it back into the pack on a scoring pass. And an easy slip by Mick Yeager gets all 5 points for Mexico. They're on the board.
There we go. That was a tough first jam, but we can't really say if that's going to tell us how this game is going to go. But if the defense stays that strong, it's going to be low scores.
All right, no more points for Mexico, so they'll stick to 5, but Sweden unable to get their jammer out, so they are so far shut out after 1 jam.
So we got Yada Yada for Sweden and Soy Tupero for Mexico on the Nerd Skate Shop jammer line. Sweden, of course, playing in blue, Mexico in red.
Mexico fielding number 16, Soy Tupero, as jammer against Yada Yada, number 4. In Sweden, the J's are pronounced like Y's.
That's right.
Yeah. It's not Jada Jada.
It is not.
Well, Yada Yada taking the outside lane. Number 69, Party Boy, slamming in with the shoulder.
Ooh, that was a nice jump from a blocker there. My goodness, was that number 8?
Number 11, Nilf, heading to the penalty box.
Oh.
Yeah, number 8 is Tobias. Excuse me, I'll double check that. No, well, just Nielsen, but.
Number 11 is actually, yeah, Nilf. We had that right. Number 8.
Well, I was talking, I believe his first name was Tobias, but he's just going by Nielsen.
Nielsen.
I think the Swedes are trying to go easy on us.
There's also quite a few cases. Oh, wait, look at that. We have 5 points already.
Yep, Mexico getting another grand slam that puts them at 10 points. And there's going to be a second scoring pass. Gets by his opposite number, Yada Yada, and slips by Nilsson, number 8, the only Swedish blocker left on the track after a flurry of penalties.
Oh, look at that. He gets completely surrounded by the blockers. They're trying to separate him out there. And indeed, it is a star pass he's putting on the panty right now. Let's see if Rockstar even gives him a chance.
That's Soy Tupero.
Soy Tupero. My goodness. We'll get into this eventually. And no.
All right, well,
doesn't allow him a score.
That's going to end the jam. Big 14-point jam for Mexico. And Sweden's still struggling to get out of their initial pass.
Okay. So we have Friedson waiting on the Nerd Skate Shop Power Line in blue for Sweden. And it seems that Mexico hasn't quite, oh, that's right, we're going to start at a roller derby athletics power start.
That's right, Soy Tupero picking up a penalty late in the jam. So number
What was that
7 for
for?
Sweden,
Did you see?
Fritzen. Joachim Fritzen, but they let us call him just Fritzen.
Fritzen, thank you.
The Swedes are very accommodating. Up front, Michael C., last line of defense, and Sweden finally getting their first jammer out on this roller derby athletics power jam.
There we go. He's got a full complement of his own blockers. So DePero's joined. Here we go. Their last blocker. He's right up front. And
as soon as Fritzen gets into the pack, Mexico blockers come out swinging. Michael C. with a powerful shoulder check, but he gets a penalty on that. However, he knocked Fritzen out of bounds, and so Fritzen getting recycled half a lap around the track. Soy Tupero back on the track, out of the penalty box.
And he has completed his initial pass as, whoa, a beautiful attempt on a block there from Vicious. Indeed, it was Vicious. Fritzen, 5 points, and calls the jam.
Well, that's the first points for Team Sweden, I just noticed the score 23 for Mexico. I don't think they scored any in this jam. I think that was another 4 from the previous jam. So it was actually an 18-point jam for Soy Tupero. So not bad.
Yeah, that was very good
for getting a penalty.
Yeah, not bad. Also for that was our second jam.
Sjöberg Olsen.
Third.
Or are we calling him just Olsen?
We're calling him Olsen. We're shortening everything as much as possible.
As few umlauts as possible. Well, it does say his full name on the jersey, but Silencio, number 47, jamming for Mexico, going up against a three wall, also known as the Triforce.
Triforce, or a block roach.
I've never heard that one.
I made it up.
Oh, Silencio running into Peking Punisher.
Oh.
And we have a cutting the track. Peking Punisher managed to get one skate of Silencio out of bounds. So it is another roller derby athletics power jam.
That's right. So I haven't seen Silencio. Oh, look at this. We have another cutting penalty.
That negates the power jam. Jammers will swap out as soon as Olsen sits down. Silencio pops back out, and we're going to have about another 10 seconds where he is the only jammer on the track.
And once that happens, we're going to have both on. We're going to run the full 1 minute that's left in this particular jam, and it's just going to be points. Or a lot of fighting.
Crutzen with some nice blocking, but Silencio able to complete his initial pass now. Olsen, the Swedish jammer, still on his initial pass, now getting lapped by Silencio. Silencio weaving to the inside, dodges Peking Punisher, and avoids Crutzen to get 4. It is 4 points for Mexico.
Absolutely. We're going to have a shout out to Captain Malice. Thanks for watching. That's all I got for you, Captain Malice. Your tweets are going to have to get a little bit more interesting. Oh, wait, that was the short form. Oh, is he correcting my pronunciation?
I don't know which one of you.
Let's see. I think it's pronounced Ray Your Eat?
Ro-Juret. Ro-Juret. Number 1 for Sweden, is that what you were saying?
Ro-Juret. I would have said that. I would have said that.
The A with a little circle on top is pronounced O. Ro-Juret.
I would have said that.
And I can't roll my R's. That's what whenever I talk to Swedes, they're always complaining that I'm not rolling my R's enough, but I think it's something you learn.
It is. It is. You just have to decide how you're going to say your R's and always just stick to that, and then they know you have an accent. So we have here Rockscar, number 22 from Mexico, and I do believe that was Olsen with all that hair.
No Modesty Blaze.
No Modesty Blaze. These Swedes and their hair. I'll get it eventually.
Well, but that was a 9-point jam for Mexico delivered by Silencio. But No Modesty Blaze this is the first time that Sweden has gotten lead jammer with the Mexico jammer on the track. Rockscar is still stuck back in the pack, getting lapped by No Modesty Blaze, but not cutting the track. Turns this into yet another roller derby athletics power jam.
My goodness, we're starting off penalty heavy as number 1 for Sweden. That's Ro-Juret. Follows him to the penalty box. So, a nice heavy shoulder.
So no lead jammer in this jam. No Modesty Blaze loses that as soon as he gets the penalty. Rockscar on one. Oh, and they're actually saying no pass, no penalty, but then he went out of bounds. And now he may not have had the recycle. That's just one of those.
Always look at the ref.
Well, it's also usually better safe than sorry.
Yeah, that too.
But no Modesty Blaze leaving the penalty box now. And he is on a scoring pass when he comes back in. But
that's right.
He's only going to be trying to match points scored already by Rockscar. 5 points for Mexico.
Look at this defense here as they build up in front of him. One jammer, two. They build up and recycle around him so quickly.
Yeah, the Mexico blockers have been doing an absolutely outstanding effort so far this game. Carl Lefou going to the penalty box as a blocker for Mexico. That gives Sweden a 4-on-3 pack advantage, but you wouldn't know that to look at the Mexico defense. No Modesty Blaze not getting anywhere on the track. However, Rockscar not doing much better against Swedes.
They both have such strong defense. These two teams have impressed me consistently with their ability to recycle around a jammer. So that gave us how many, producer lady? 5.
Well, 5,
4 and 4.
9 to 5 is what that score was. 9 for Mexico, 5 for Sweden.
Sorry, I was a little bit distracted there.
Well, back to the action on the track, and I believe we actually have an empty penalty box.
Wow.
The Nerd Skate Shop jammer line as a Yada Yada against Soy Tu Perro.
Soy Tu Perro.
Number 16 for Mexico in the red jerseys. Of course, Sweden in the blue jerseys.
So Yada Yada is way up front there, but that doesn't always mean anything, does it? This Mexican block roach, what they've built there, is just so strong.
What did you call a block roach?
Well, there's the blocktopus, and that's 4. So we said, what do you call it when there's only 3? It's a block roach.
I would have liked to have been in on that brainstorming session.
So here we go. Yada Yada is lead jammer for Sweden.
Yada Yada. This is the second time they've gotten lead jammer with the Mexico jammer on the track. So Sweden performing a little bit better on offense. However, Mexico's built up a bit of a lead, and Yada Yada not barely even able to penetrate into the pack.
Oh, there's a big mess. Everything got smashed up there, and Soy Tu Perro is taking advantage of that, and forearms. He's going to go take a seat.
It's another roller derby athletics power jam. However, Ortega, Dr. Manhattan, and Carl Lefou completely owning, shutting down Yada Yada so far. He gets a little help from Nelson, but time runs out. He will get all 5 points, but won't actually complete that scoring pass. Just beautiful, beautiful defense by Mexico.
I'd like to thank Captain Malice once again for correcting our pronunciation. It's not Ro-Duret, it's Ro-Uret. If you have any more excellent tips on pronunciation, Captain Malice, thank you, and you can keep it to yourself. Ha ha. I'm just kidding. You're doing a great job. So what do we have here? Someone I'm going to say wrong here. We've got Friesen, I believe, for Sweden, no longer on the Nerd Skate Shop jammer line. He's way up front now. Let's see if he can get by as the pack stretches out.
As Luis Navarrijo is delivering some powerful blocking. He is actually partially deaf, but he can hear well enough, and of course the referees are aware of it, so they just have to make sure that
he sees.
They give extra visual
cues. Excellent. There we go. That's 5 for Friesen and Sweden. What do we have here? We have a star bus
with a star stash and able to jump across a couple of blockers on the inside and completes the initial pass. Fridsen going against Michael C. Michael.
Take this moment to thank one of our sponsors. Let's see, how about the RSC? The 2016 Men's Roller Derby World Cup is sanctioned and insured by Roller Derby Sports Canada, providing insurance and support for all Canadian roller sports. Visit us at www.rollersports.ca or on Facebook at RSC Roller Derby. So we are aware that we have frozen. We're not sure if it's just us or if it's everybody. So we're just going to keep describing what's going on in the track.
Now Mexico in some difficulty. They have a jammer and two blockers in the penalty box. I believe Soy Tupero. So Silencio had to return the jammer star. And it is a roller derby athletics power jam. Olsen, the jammer for Sweden.
So let's see if he can smash his way through here. These Mexican blockers are so impenetrable. They keep recycling forward. We've got one coming back for a little bit of offensive help against the Swedish blockers.
So Tupero back in action and gets recycled a bit. Mick Yeager with a shoulder shot and then followed up by Fridsen. Oh, sorry, Nielsen. Nielsen, number 8. So far, the pack, I don't think they've gotten past turn 2 yet. Both jammers almost shoulder to shoulder, but Olsen, the jammer for Sweden, knocked out of bounds to the infield, has to recycle back. And Soy Tupero, I believe that is a misconduct penalty. I thought I was expecting actually expecting a cutting the track penalty, but the misconduct negated the cut track. So Soy Tupero able to recycle cleanly. Mick Yeager gives him some trouble at the front, but now it's Soy Tupero completing his initial pass.
There we go. Meanwhile, Olsen breaks through and gets himself 5 entire points for that particular round, lapping the jammer. There we go, and the jam is over. So we are aware that the feed is frozen for everyone, and we're really sorry about that. They're working on it like a bunch of crazy little gerbils with tools as they take apart the box next to us. We are going to do a lot of play-by-play for you. I'm going to throw everything here to Bulldog. He's really good at that.
All right, we have Silencio, number 47, jamming for Mexico, with No Modesty Blaze jamming for Team Sweden. Silencio gets by the front guard, Nielsen, and gets lead jammer for Mexico. No Modesty Blaze going against 3 Mexico blockers. Lignan, number 217, moving into the point position, but they screen all of Sweden to the outside, and Silencio gets by untouched. 5 points for Mexico. No Modesty Blaze counter checks a shoulder check from Pablex. Bashes his way to the outside, gets swiped off the track by Michael C. And he is denied. He is still on his initial pass. Silencio getting another easy run through the pack. 5 more points for Mexico, and he's going to go for a third one.
That means our score right now is 54 for Mexico, 29 for Sweden. That is changing rapidly.
Another 5 for Silencio as he gets by Rojuret, the last line of defense for Sweden. So it's 15 points so far for Mexico. No Modesty Blaze denied again. Pablex bringing him to the back of the back out of turn 3. This time Silencio runs into a little bit of trouble. That was Nielsen once again side-swiping him out of bounds to the inside. He only gets 4 out of a potential 5 on that last scoring pass. Okay,
so we'd like to apologize that our feed has fallen out. They are working like crazy to get that back online for you. We are really sorry. Some absolute gluck today. Luckily, we have Bulldog here on the feed. He's an excellent play-by-play announcer. And it looks like we're going to have an official timeout anyway. And everybody knows those are no fun to watch. So
actually, it's a team timeout called by Sweden.
Okay. So normally on our team timeout, that would be a quad skate chop timeout. But instead, we are going to tell you a little bit about quad skate chop because we love this game. Quad is Europe's original brick and mortar roller derby skate shop with the best selection and most stock on the continent. We know skates, so you don't have to. Our customer service is the best on a level that only fellow skaters could provide. Come and see us online or in store for all your derby needs. Hashtag Quad Berlin.
The score now 69 for Mexico, 23 for Sweden.
We apologize once again that our feed is down. We are aware of this, and everything is being reset so that you can enjoy this game again. This is Sweden versus Mexico.
And it's and I misspoke, 29 for Sweden. 29 for Sweden. So timeout almost out thanks to Quad's Skate Shop. Carl LeFou, number 164, will be jamming for Mexico against number 4, Yada Yada, for Sweden. Both teams, as far as I can tell, yes, 4 blockers each. So we're going to have a 5-on-5 jam to start. There's the 5-second call. And the whistles start the jam. Carl LeFou immediately slamming his shoulder into Yada Yada, the Swedish jammer. And then they both dive into the scrum. Now that is about as mixed up a block. That's a double block-to-puss going on right now. But Carl LeFou knocked out of bounds again by Nielsen. Nielsen showing some powerful blocking for Sweden, but up front, Yada Yada for Sweden knocked to the infield, and Dr. Manhattan's going to take him almost back to the jammer line. They're out front. That is Carl LeFou taking lead jammer for Mexico. Yada Yada swept back again, and he passes the star over to Nielsen, the pivot. That is a valid star pass. However, Nielsen immediately picked up by the Mexico defense as Carl LeFou gets the first 5 for Mexico. Nielsen's going to break free, gets the star cover on his helmet. But cutting the track as Carl LeFou going through his second scoring pass. Yada Yada did the damage, and now it is another roller derby athletics power jam. Nielsen, the number 8 for Sweden, on his first scoring pass. He is trying to match the first scoring pass of Carl LeFou. Carl LeFou will come back when he does on his second scoring pass. However, Nielsen struggling just to get back onto the track, and now dives in, immediately swept aside to the outside. Herrera, number 6, at the back of the pack. Immediately engages, helped by Dino Roar. And again, Nielsen knocked out of bounds, but he gets it back in clean. Nice maneuvering by Nielsen, and he will pick up 4 of those points. Carl LeFou coming back in, completing his second scoring pass. Another 5 for Mexico. So far 10-4 in this jam. But Nielsen starting his second scoring pass, but now getting lapped again by Carl LeFou. Looks like 5 more points for Mexico, 15 total for the jam.
So we'd just like to mention that it's halftime on the nerd track, the other track here, and the score there is 79 for Scotland, 76 for Belgium. I imagine that's a pretty exciting game. So we have a tweet from Zep. Let's see, he says that Team Belgium is looking quite good. A bunch of corrections on our pronunciation of Rodure. And let's see. We're going to get back to the derby. Here we go.
That jam starts out 78-37, but Rock Scar, jamming for Mexico, takes a cutting the track penalty. Fridsen, number 7, jamming for Sweden, gets lead jammer. Now on the approach for his first scoring pass on this roller derby athletics power jam. Up the outside, gets by Michael C, and then Mick Yeager comes across, takes out 2. That was Pavlex he took out, and Vicious unable to make contact. 5 points on the first scoring pass for Sweden, and they're still on the power jam. First scoring pass, Pavlex picks up Fridsen, but Fridsen to the outside. Vicious and Michael C now in a 2-wall at the front. Fridsen trying to move up the outside, tap dances his way past, and Michael C unable to stop him. 5 more points for Sweden, 10 points so far for the jam, but Rockscar, the Mexico jammer, back in, and rockets right through the pack, completing his initial pass, but he is 3 laps now behind Fridsen. Fridsen calling off the jam. Did he do it in time? No points for Rockscar, and any points for Sweden. 10 points, and 2 more makes it 12. So a 12-0 jam for Sweden.
So that brings our score to 49 points for Sweden. And what was that for Mexico?
78.
There we go. We have Soy Tupero on the Nerd Skate Shop jammer line, and that's against No Modesty Blaze. Both jammers stuck completely at the back of the pack behind. No, that's already broken up.
Well, they are getting stretched out. The referees say out of play and a free ride for Soy Tupero. He takes lead jammer. No Modesty Blaze still struggling just to get into the pack as he gets lapped. Soy Tupero up to the front. A furious battle. Gets by Nilf. Nilf whiffs with the hip check. And Soy Tupero with another 5. No Modesty Blaze does manage to get out of the pack, but Soy Tupero, a leap across the infield, gets by Grand Marshal, the only blocker in range. 4 more points for Mexico, nothing for Sweden. That puts Mexico at 87 points, Sweden still at 49. Sorry, 88. Oh, okay.
Just changed again. It's actually 87.
Little communication, temporary communication breakdown, but we always catch up, don't we?
We do eventually. This is like an old-timey radio show. No? When Grampy used to listen to the baseball.
We need about a 16-piece string quartet in order to make this more dramatic, I think, in order to be a...
Or just have the feedback.
We have Silencio back in the jammer cap for Mexico. Going against Olsen. Olsen for Sweden. Pablex picks up a penalty, but Olsen swept back into the pack by Herrera as Silencio. Silencio, though, gets... he got a penalty. I didn't catch the signal.
Okay,
but
so
this is another roller derby athletics power jam.
Yeah, excuse me. We're back online, as you see. Everything's groovy, and we're all watching derby again.
Mexico with another flurry of penalties. Only 2 blockers on the track. That is Herrera and Dr. Manhattan. They immediately pick up Olsen. Olsen looking to the inside.
Oh.
Papa opening the door, and it's 5 points for Olsen. But Papa did pick up a penalty, so now a 3-on-2 pack.
Oh, but here we have Silencio coming right back in. And there was a little bit of confusion there, and he managed to scooch by on the inside line. That was sweet. We got some jammer-on-jammer action there. And it looks like Silencio tried to block Olsen and got an elbows penalty. Whoa! Herrera
and Luis Navarrijo double teaming Olsen.
Jeez Louise, and that was completely legal. I always wait for the penalty whistle after a block that hard.
Luis Navarrijo once again getting Olsen out of bounds on the outside this time. Pablex dropping back. And once again, this is yet another roller derby athletics power jam. Sweden with the only jammer on the track. And Mexico will not see their jammer return for the end of the jam. No points for Mexico. 14 points total for Sweden.
So with Yada Yada on the track alone, that means it's going to be a roller derby athletics power start.
But Sweden definitely have their wheels back underneath them. They are catching up to Mexico swiftly.
Absolutely, not such a big point differential here. Those are 24 points. That's just one power jam, actually. Except that Yada Yada is against all the blockers. And we only have 3 blockers on. Oh my goodness.
Hardy Boy slamming Grand Marshal to the ground.
Look at that. First one to the right, then one to the left. There's blockers flying everywhere.
Oh, Vicious picked up a penalty. So another Mexico blocker heading to the box. It'll be tied up in the pack 3-on-3. Yada Yada tied up with Party Boy, Dino Roar, and Michael C. They have him pretty well caught, and now send him out of bounds. He's got to recycle, but Dino Roar heading into the penalty box.
My goodness. It's a little bit hard to see what's going on with so many people flying around, isn't it? So
one of the more energetic bouts we've seen.
Really, with really hard hits. Silencio was recycled to the back. He's already pushed his way through. He's got 5 points again. Yada Yada had stashed the star, but he's putting it back on his head now. I'm wondering here if Silencio is going to try to blast past this and call the jam, which indeed he did. Party Boy wasn't going to have any of it anyway. He was going to let Yada through.
Well, 2 points were scored in that last pass by Mexico, bringing them up to 7 points for the jam.
And 0 for Sweden. So that brings our score to 63 for Sweden, 94 for Mexico. The difference is getting a little bit greater. So
some last-second shifts. There was an extra pivot cover out on the track. Carl Lafou jamming for Mexico. Back and forth to Sweden, covering the entire track. Friedsen, the jammer for Sweden, gets out for lead. There goes. Yes, Carl Lafou. Number 164 for Mexico, trying to catch up, but Friedsen calls off the jam. Only gets a partial 2 points for Sweden, but nothing for Mexico.
So we'll take a moment to thank our sponsors, one of which being, as I go through all my lovely papers here, is Roll-Line. Roll-Line, the Italian-tailored skating experience, fits on your needs since 1999. Oh, we got one blocker jumping off the track just in time.
No Modesty Blaze jamming for Sweden.
And who do we have there for Mexico? That's Rockscar.
That's Rockscar, yes. It was partially obscured for a while.
He's a big, tall guy.
Oh, he powers his way past number 8, Nielsen, and gets out for lead for Sweden.
So I was just looking at our Twitter feed. The track is back online. Yes, thank you very much. Everyone hit refresh. Yeah, everything worked. Okay, exactly. If your screen is still frozen, just hit refresh and it'll be fine right now. So, Rockscar with 5 points on that last pass.
Well, No Modesty Blaze taking a run, swept aside by Party Boy.
Wow.
Rockscar has to climb his way past Blocker Watson of Sweden, but Rockscar taking a shot from Crutzen, but Crutzen unable to get him out of bounds. Rockscar of Mexico gets another 5.
Rockscar is an excellent blocker, or jammer, excuse me. He's got, he's so balanced. It's really hard to knock him down. He doesn't really look like the typical jammer, does he? But still, he manages to be able to take lots and lots of blocks and give them back. So, we are at halftime. That was our first half of Sweden versus Mexico. That was a pretty exciting first half. I'm not exactly sure what the score is. I don't know if you took a look at it before our feed dropped out here a little bit. So, 65-106. In case anybody didn't hear that, that was Julia Sleazer telling us that it's 65 to
106.
106 for Mexico. Mexico has been putting on an excellent show here. Their defense is excellent. Tell us what you think, Bulldog.
Well, I think the Mexico blockers winning this game so far. They've been absolutely outstanding.
Haven't they just?
No Modesty Blaze, a fantastic jammer, but he has been all but shut down most of the time. He's kind of one of the go-tos for Sweden, but he has been struggling the entire game. Mexico, their main problem in this first half has been penalties. Most of those points that brought them close to Mexico have been scored during power jams, and also but also they've had a lot of pack advantages. So, that's enough from us. 105 to 65. Is that corrected?
It is indeed. 106.
Okay, well, we'll see you back shortly for the second half of Mexico versus Sweden at the Roller Derby Men's World Cup. I said Roller Derby Men's World Cup instead of Men's Roller Derby World Cup.
You got all the words in there, right?
Welcome back. We are getting ready for the second half of Team Mexico versus Team Sweden. So far, Mexico with a considerable lead, 40 points ahead of Sweden. Score 105-65, as you can see there. I'm Bulldog, and right now with me is King Crazy.
Good afternoon, Bulldog. Yeah, I'm here just stepping in for Noise of the Ground on this one. So, 40 point lead, as you said. I mean, I've not had the chance to see much of this game. Is that a fair reflection, would you say?
Well, now Mexico's blockers, as we were saying at the end of the first half, Mexico's blockers have done a tremendous job shutting down the Sweden jammers. Sweden mostly scoring their points when Mexico runs into penalty trouble, which they did a lot in the latter half of the first half. The last 15 minutes, they spent a lot of time in the penalty box, including their jammers, and that 65-point score by Sweden is reflected in that. However, I give credit to the Mexico blockers for that 105 points they've got on the board after the first half. So I think, yes, it's a fair reflection.
It's a fair reflection.
That was an answer to your question? Yes.
Yeah, well, I like the detail. That makes it a lot easier. So just going a minute to go.
And of course, that was also some exciting technical problems, but I think we've got those ironed out. We're going to rock on now.
So 40 seconds to go. So we'll have Sweden are in the blue, Mexico wearing the red for this game. Has it been sort of like fast and frenetic game? Is that what we've been seeing?
Absolutely, a very energetic game. That is definitely the word for the word for that first half, especially from those blockers, as I mentioned. But again, with penalties, Mexico starting out with Dino Roar in the penalty box, so they'll be down a blocker to start out the second half. But we've got Rock Scar, number 22, jamming for Mexico in the red jersey, as you mentioned, and number 9, No Modesty Blaze, jamming for Sweden.
And they are at the Nerd Skate Shop jammer line here on the SISU track 2.
No Modesty Blaze getting denied on the outside. Herrera and Pablex double teaming. Rock Scar, the jammer for Mexico, getting past the Swedish defense, gets lead jammer for Mexico. No Modesty Blaze slammed to the ground by Michael C. Herrera backing up on point for Mexico. Rock Scar on his first scoring pass, slammed in by a shoulder from Mick Yeager. Herrera screens him out of the way, but Papa coming in, guarding that inside lane, and now they are double teaming. Mick Yeager and Papa double teaming Rock Scar.
So Pablex has been doing some great work on No Modesty Blaze at the back of the pack, holding Swedish jammer. No Modesty Blaze in. He's done the star stash, but that's got him through.
Well, No Modesty Blaze only just completing his initial pass, though. Rock Scar on his third scoring pass.
And he's picked up a track cut penalty. This will be a roller derby athletic power jam now for No Modesty Blaze and Sweden.
And correction, second scoring pass. When Rock Scar comes back, he will be on his second scoring pass. I misspoke, but No Modesty Blaze on a scoring pass, but Pablex drawing him back past the jammer line, rams into Dino Roar, caught at the front. Dino Roar getting backed up by Pablex, and then Michael C. getting on into a point position. Oh, but a penalty against Pablex, number 5 for Mexico.
As a blocking with a head penalty. So No Modesty Blaze takes a tumble, picks himself up, waiting for him to get up there. For Mexico was number 6, Herrera. He just didn't wait quite long enough. Misconduct, blocking a down skater.
That's a slightly, just a little bit over aggressive. But Michael C. and Dino Roar double teaming. No Modesty Blaze, he finally breaks free. 5 points, gets the grand slam for Sweden. But 4 points by Rock Scar on his second scoring pass, so Mexico wins the jam 9-5. So moving into getting set up for the next jam, Yada Yada coming out for Sweden in the blue jerseys once again. Soy Tu Perro, number 16, jamming for Mexico in the red jerseys. But we've got a couple of more penalties. There's 2 blockers on the track for Mexico, 3 for Sweden. Soitu Pero has no difficulty shoehorning his way up the inside lane and gets the lead once again for Mexico.
So that's as Yada Yada now has completed his initial pass. Mexico having a bit of trouble with penalties at the moment, a lot in the box, but that's a call off preventing Yada Yada from getting around and picking up the points.
So Peking, Punisher, and Nielsen of Sweden managed to get Soitu Pero out of bounds. He calls off the jam when he sees Sweden coming up, and no points for Sweden, 4 points for Mexico.
Just want to give a quick shout out to Wicco Skates. Greetings from Finland. Your feet cool. They need a hug. Best regards from Wicco Skates.
All right, but the penalty situation has not changed very much in terms, at least in proportions. 3-on-2 pack advantage for Sweden. Silencio, number 47, on the Nerd Skate Shop jammer line, but number 7, Friedsen, oh, he walked the tightrope up the inside and got lead jammer for Sweden.
Star pass has been completed, so we now have number 10, Ortega, with the star for Mexico. Just managed to complete that inbounds and legally. Sweden jammer Friedsen was being told to call it, left it perhaps a little too long. Ortega has got through and picked up a couple.
Matching 2s. So it's a 2-2 jam tied for that one, and as always in roller derby, tie goes to the team with more points.
But again, that's the kind of thing that Sweden cannot afford. Currently 48 points behind. They've got time to do the death by inches, the 4 points, 3 points, hit it and quit it. But when they've got lead jammer, they've got to stop Mexico from picking up those points.
Now we have Soitu Pero returning to the jammer line, going against Sjöberg Olsen. Also, although it's possibly pronounced Sjöberg, but I'm just going to call him Olsen.
I thought it was Sjöberg, to be honest, but that could just be me.
Well, the Swedes have been kind to us. They've let us mostly use just their last names. Soitu Pero, gets denied on the inside. Nielsen with a powerful block and drops him out of turn 1. But vicious hit into the penalty box for Mexico. So the penalties continue now as number 217 Lignan going to the penalty box as well. That leaves 2 blockers on the track for Mexico.
Sjöberg is through, he's completed his initial pass. Soitu Pero just waiting, trying to run that little bit of time off the clock for those that are in the box. So just under 25 minutes to go. If you're just joining us, Mexico are in the red on 125 points. Sweden in the blue on 72.
And that jam just passed was a 5-point jam for Mexico.
So yeah, the 2 teams here, they're competing for positions 9 through 12. The winner of this will play at 1 o'clock tomorrow on the Nerd track against the winner of Scotland-Belgium. The loser of this will play the loser of that here at 11:15. Bulldog, who we got jamming?
We've got No Modesty Blaze once again going against Rockscar. This is actually a matchup we've seen several times, and as if I recall correctly, Rockscar has won almost all of these matchups, but No Modesty Blaze gets it this time. Lead jammer goes to Sweden.
So Rockscar is having a tough time. That strong 4-wall. Mick Yeager is in there, I believe, doing a great job. Exit hit on the end from number 42. That is Papa, but a no pass, no penalty. That allows Rockscar to complete his initial pass. And Modesty Blaze calls the jam. So that's the 3 points. Just like we were saying, Sweden have the time to do that. They have the time to do 3 points, hit it and quit it. There's still 24 minutes just under left. They've just got to prevent Mexico from picking up the points as well.
That's right, and a big key to that is going to be getting lead jammer, something Mexico has been very good at, except that they have gotten more penalties, I believe, on this, especially jammer penalties. The Swedish jammers, and I hope I'm not jinxing anyone on either team.
Lovely footwork. Sorry to cut you off there. Soitu Pero, lovely toe-stop work on the outside line. He gets through, gets lead jammer for Mexico.
Yada looking for the outside lane, but Dr. Manhattan covering the inside. Yada getting battered back, almost knocked down now.
There's bodies everywhere, there's whistles everywhere.
That was Carl LeFou that got knocked down. Yada with some powerful moves up the outside, brushes off a shoulder from Luis Navarrijo, but gets caught back by the rest of the blockers for Mexico. Now taking the star off as he gets lapped again, or Soitupero in a forward position.
So there's some good work from the Swedish blockers there, getting back in front of Soitupero, making it so that he has to do multiple passes just to get the points.
A free pass finally at the end of the engagement, so Nilf of Sweden has to back off. 5 points for Soitupero, and this time a little hop, and that's all it takes. Catching Crutzen by surprise, and it's going to be 10 points now for Mexico.
So Yada was taken back and drawn back by Carl Lafou. Carl Lafou, of course, one of the many New York Stock Exchange players playing this weekend.
Nielsen has just taken the star pass for Sweden, completing the initial pass only, though. Soitupero taking his time, calls off the jam, waits till the last second, but he does it in time. Nothing
very smart it was as well, though, because it did spring Party Boy.
15 points for Mexico, puts them up to 140, Sweden at 75.
I just want to give a quick shout out to Rowline, the Italian tailored skating experience fitting on your needs since 1999. And we have, I think we will have something. We have a team timeout. This is a team timeout brought to you by the Quad Skate Shop.
S1, 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 S1. S1 is part of my uniform.
A clear path through the pack almost never exists. So we fight and make our own.
So we're back here on the SISU track. Just a quick update from the other track, just under 12 minutes to go. Belgium 122, Power of Scotland on 141. Here on SISU track 2, Sweden 75, Mexico 140.
So this is the second team timeout taken by Sweden. They'll only have one left. Both teams still have their official review. Mexico has yet to take a timeout, though. But so far, they haven't really needed one. Even when they've had pack disadvantages, they've still been very strong against everything the Swedes could throw at them.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, Sweden did have that couple of jams where they got on a bit of a roll, couple of league jammers in a row. You just wonder, had they done that maybe for 3 or 4 jams with Mexico taking a timeout? But Mexico got it back up. So who've we got jamming this time, sir?
We've got Fridsen, number 7 for Sweden, up against number 47, Silencio for Mexico. Now, I believe we have a block-to-puss in the back and a block roach in the front. I learned that new terminology for block roach. That's a 3 blockers in a triangle formation, possibly. But there goes Silencio up the inside. Herrera doing the honors, opening up that inside lane. Lead jammer for Mexico.
So Fridsen fighting his hardest to get through at the back of the pack there. No, some good work, though, from number 5. That was Pablex holding him back.
Herrera on point, falls down, but he gets backed up by Mike. No, sorry, that's a
superb hit. Sorry, Ortega just dropping Fridsen on the outside.
Silencio with another 5 for Mexico. Fridsen taking another run at it, immediately picked up by Pablex, moves to the inside, caught by Herrera, and he's getting lapped again by Silencio, the Mexico jammer.
So that was a combination that time of Ortega and Pablex taking Fridsen down. Forced him to fight all the way back. Silencio, some nice little footwork, works his way past Papa. 10 points and counting on this jam for Silencio.
Fridsen struggling. Pablex has that inside lane locked down. Luis Navarijo moving back to form a 2-wall.
But we have a forearms penalty on Silencio. That will mean we have a roller derby athletics power jam for Sweden and specifically Fridsen. Although he's just tried to find a gap on the inside, ran into the brick wall that is number 6, Herrera.
Ortega with some shoulder checking and then ramming it into the other 2 blockers, Herrera and Luis Navarijo. Then Pablex moving in, and now all 4 manage to get Fridsen out of bounds. And we will run out of time. Fridsen will not put any points on the board for Sweden.
So that was some real strong pack work there from Mexico. So there will be a roller derby athletics power start for Sweden, specifically No Modesty Blaze.
But Silencio did score 4 points in that third scoring pass before going to the penalty box, so a 14-point jam for Mexico.
So 4-on-2 pack advantage as well for Mexico in the red, Sweden in the blue. Have the roller derby athletics power start.
No Modesty Blaze jamming on the Nerd Skate Shop jammer line. Moves into the 3 wall, and they shove him out of bounds. He gets backed up by Vicious, back behind the jammer line, comes in clean, but no more power. Jam Silencio back on the track, immediately passes it to Carl LeFou, and Carl LeFou gets an easy run, but not lead jammer, of course. He was the pivot, now the jammer for Mexico.
So lead jammer is still open for No Modesty Blaze if you can get it. Carl LeFou, inside, outside, 5 points.
No Modesty Blaze brushes off a shoulder from Vicious, but gets caught at the front by Michael C. Michael C as superstar blocker for Mexico this entire game.
Just Carl LeFou's coming back in, engaging with the tripod of Swedish blockers, trying to fight his way through as the gap opens up on the outside. 5 more. So No Modesty Blaze having a tough time. He looks like he's been really physically had the worst taken out of him. Mick Yeager out of the box at speed. Carl LeFou rides it. Superb footwork on the outside. 5-point grand slam.
Crutzen put up a fight, but Carl LeFou able to get through. That's 3 scoring passes, 3 grand slams, and Carl LeFou on number 4, and still no lead jammer. Of course, Carl LeFou not lead jammer, but No Modesty Blaze has yet been able to get through his initial pass.
So No Modesty Blaze has now taken off the star, so that this jam will go the full 2 minutes. And I say that time I can't quite see who it was from here. Is it Silencio with a drawback? No, Carl LeFou's not bothered. He's going to put up 5 more. 20 and counting on this jam.
That is the biggest jam of the game so far. And now we have a roller derby athletics power jam as No Modesty Blaze sent to the penalty box. 5 more for Carl LeFou, and that is 25 point. An incredible jam. That was after the star pass. That was some fine Mexico jamming.
So the Men's Roller Derby World Cup would like to acknowledge the contributions of Alberta Sports Connection, which helped make this event possible. Thank you, Alberta Sports Connection. So 16 minutes and change to go. 179 plays 75. We have an official timeout at the moment.
All right, and the Mexico fans making their presence felt here, here over on SISU track. This is track number 2 at the Men's Roller Derby World Cup for 2016.
So Mexico, this is their first time in the World Cup. Sweden were in the World Cup 2 years ago in Birmingham. Mexico have certainly made a big impact this weekend. And like I say, currently fighting off for the chance to finish potentially as high as 9th. So on the other track there is 10 minutes, just under 11 minutes to go. Scotland 145, Belgium 127. Just a reminder, the winners of that game will meet the winners of this one to play for 9th place. So I'm not quite sure what the official timeout is for now. It does all seem to be sorted.
I don't see any differences in the penalties. No changes to the score, so they may have just been, sometimes they do it just to make sure that all the penalties are accounted for and tabulated. So we've got Rockscar, number 22, on the roller derby athletics power start. No Modesty Blaze in the penalty box as jammer for Sweden. Rockscar denied by Papa, and then Nielsen moves in. The Rockscar moves to the outside. Caught by the Swedish blockers. They're putting up a fight.
So Rockscar's got to be careful. He's put his head down to try and fight through. Oh, take a seat.
That was Nielsen.
But he did it illegally, did it as fallout. As I was saying about Rockscar, we have seen quite a few blocking with the head penalties this weekend. So that's something that he will have to be careful of.
But watch the pack. That is 3-on-1. Party Boy, the only blocker. Oh, not even close, though. And Rockscar tried to do a tactical splat, but he rolled onto the track. That is a technical cutting the track. and we have another roller derby athletics power jam. This time the Swedes in the driver's seat.
I say Party Boy has also gone to a penalty box, just leaving Silencio on his own. I don't know exactly what Party Boy did. I couldn't make out the signal.
But look, did you see that that effort? That was Silencio. Silencio was all over him. That was the Mexico blocking we've been seeing. One blocker out there, and he was still able to shut down the no modesty blaze for
that
about
time
10
he couldn't
seconds.
do it, and he saw the frustration. But Ortega went for blocking with the head as he put his head down to try and join Silencio in front of that Swedish wall.
Now it's Pablex and Silencio. Papa dropping back to open up the inside lane, and No Modesty Blaze does the rest himself. Gets by Pablex, gets another 5 for Sweden.
15 and counting so far on this jam for No Modesty Blaze. This jam, of course, will go the full 2 minutes. So there is no lead jammer. Rockscar is out trying to deal with that strong four. Ortega comes out of the box. We have, for the moment, at least 5 on 5.
No Modesty Blaze knocked out by Silencio once again.
Silencio will go for the forearms penalty though, or elbows. Whatever it was, he'll sit in the box for 30 seconds and think about what he's done. And a misconduct penalty on Pablex at the end for blocking after the whistle.
Well, 3 points picked up in the nick of time by Mexico, but a 15-point jam for Sweden.
So we have an official timeout right now. So that'll give me the chance to thank the Derby Shop, because Roller Derby saves your soul but wrecks all your gear. The Derby Shop is online as well as a brick and mortar shop in Amsterdam, the Netherlands, or online at www.thederbyshop.nl, and is known for the best advice and technical support when it comes to all your roller derby gear. And if you ever visit, Bulldog, if you ever visit, bring cookies.
I will write that down somewhere. But we're still on an official timeout.
In that case, while we're doing that, I'm also going to thank Roller Derby Elite, platinum sponsor of Team USA Roller Derby.
We have a referee in the penalty box, double checking the penalty stats.
So we've got Roller Derby Leon, who's treated in, saying that Carl LeFou is the best. I think Carl LeFou has put up a very good case for that so far in this game.
I think there are a lot of good choices on Team Mexico.
So again, so the other track we know is a close game. 8 minutes to go on that, 166-128 in favour of Scotland. So we do have the official timeout. So while we've got that, let me just give you a quick shout as to what is next up on this track. Following this game in the consolation bracket for places 5 to 8, we will have Finland versus France. That will be at 5:15 local time. To give you an idea, it's now 23 minutes past 4. So in just under an hour's time, we will see that game. So it's about, so that'll be in, say it's +8 for European time. So French and Finnish viewers, that game will start approximately 1:15 your time, I believe. That will also be followed at 7:15 local time by Argentina versus Wales. That's what we have remaining for you today on the SISU track.
All right, we believe we have everything sorted. The signal for the official review has gone away, and the skaters seem ready.
So it's official timeout, not an official review.
Yes, thank you. Thank you for the correction. 4-on-2 pack advantage for Sweden. It's Olsen jamming for Sweden against number 16, Soitupero. Olsen at the front, Michael C. and Herrera comes across with a shoulder check, but it's a cutting the track. He had to come back in behind Herrera, and therefore we have another roller derby athletics power jam, this time for Mexico. So Tupero right up the center gets past the Swedish blockers. Dr. Watson, last line of defense, unable to stop him, but not lead jammer. We're going to go full 2 minutes in this jam.
I'm not quite sure why. I don't know if there's been a little bit of miscommunication or whether there was a no pass, no penalty that I didn't see. But for whatever reason it is, we have a roller derby athletics power jam now for Team Mexico, and it is Soitupero who has the star. Just Papa to beat one-on-one up front. Papa not giving him an easy ride, but he does get those 5 points.
Quick juke up the inside, and that's what it takes. Olsen back on the track, though. No more power jam, but Olsen still on his initial pass. Soitupero comes in, rammed out of bounds by Papa, number 42 of Sweden. Soitupero comes in clean. Olsen, the jammer for Sweden, at a standstill over there in turn 3. It's Silencio and Herrera. Oh, up the inside, Soitupero manages to get past the Swedish blockers. I thought they had him locked up in turn 3, took my attention off, and suddenly he's through. Four more points for Mexico.
Number 13, Mick Jaeger, the pivot there for Sweden. At one point, he had 2 Mexico blockers under his own control. But I said he managed to get round. Sjoberg Olsen is now through. He has completed his initial pass. Pavlex will sit in the box. And another 4 points this time put up for Mexico by Soitupero.
But Olsen gets a side swipe from Michael C. Stays on his skates, though, but still having trouble just getting anywhere in the pack. Runs out of time, but does put 2 points on the board for Sweden. But Mexico with a big jam. 4 points in that last scoring pass.
So 2 points for Sweden, taking them to 96. Mexico now on 199 after 17 points in that jam. Just about 11.5 minutes to go when we get underway on this jam. But we now have an official review. I believe that was called by Mexico. So now the captains and the alternates, they will go and discuss this with the head ref. And then the head ref, hopefully, will explain to us exactly what's going on.
Yeah, that is a official review requested by Mexico.
So Mexico, no, actually, I think it's Sweden.
Okay, it was adjusted. The timekeeper was gesturing towards Mexico. That has been corrected. Is a Swedish official review.
So again, just while we've got this, let's just give you a quick update from the other track. Coming towards the end of the game, 4.5 minutes to go there. Scotland 175, Belgium 128. So of course, the winners of that game will play the winners of this game tomorrow at, I believe it's at 3 o'clock. I will double check that. I believe it's 3 o'clock tomorrow on the Nerd Skate Shop's track. Throw it over to our head referee. All right, okay, we won't hear quite from the head referee due to a problem with the mic. Oh, no, we've just heard Statman talking into it. So the referees will obviously discuss this now. What we'll probably do is they will discuss what the official review was for. Once the head referee has explained it back to the captains and alternates of each team, hopefully we'll have the mic working there so we can find out what the review was about and what the result is. It's always nice to know these things.
All right, but this is one of those times when I really can't think of what they wanted. My best get. Never mind. No more speculating. We're going to hear from the horses.
Sweden was protesting the cutting call on their jammer in the beginning of the jam, contesting that the initiator went out and so there should have been no cut. Upon review, OPRs and jam ref agree that there was a second opponent that dropped back, causing a cut. Call stands.
All right, so they were trying to wipe that part of the slate clean and clean up the record of Soitupero by one cut track, but it was upheld.
Sjoberg Olsen, it was the Sweden that were challenging the cut.
Yes.
Massive congratulations to the head ref. That was a really nice, clear explanation. So here we go. We have Carl LeFou and Yada Yada. So both jammers now trying to fight their way through, having a real tough time. As Crutzen, I think, with a hit at the back, as Carl LeFou bounces nicely. Doesn't get the track cut, does Nilsson, and lead jammer goes to Carl LeFou.
Yada Yada going against Herrera and Vicious there, as we've seen the entire game, holding strong, but a nice move up the inside lane. Yada Yada getting through, not giving up the jammer point. But Carl LeFou slips by Crutzen, and Peking Punisher gets 4 points.
Okay, Pablex picks up an illegal procedure penalty there. I'm guessing he's left the box early. But just while we've got this break, I want to thank rollerskating.ca. It's Canada's roller skate store, trusted provider to Derby teams all across Canada for over 11 years with the best customer service. We sell and service all the top Derby brands, safety gear, and tons of recreational skates too. Over 30 years of expert quad skater know-how at your service. And we now have Team Mexico using their official review.
Yes, the actual Team Mexico official review.
Yes.
We got it. I think we've caught up. Yes. Now, any idea what they might be requesting a review for in that jam?
Only thing that I can think of is whether it's possibly the illegal procedure that was called on Pablex. But again, is that something that you would use on a blocker? I mean, he is a key blocker. If he's hot, if that puts him on sort of 5 or 6 or even 7 penalties, then yeah, maybe it's worth it. Other than that, as a blocker, as a bench coach myself, unless I know I'm 100% right, it's not one that perhaps I would risk. And even when I'm 100% right, the refs have told me I'm wrong. But they know better. That's why they have stripes and a whistle, and I have a microphone.
Yeah, very unusual to use an official review on a blocker.
Requesting a back block call on the Swedish jammer at the beginning of the jam on red 6.
All right, so that's not the result. That is what the official review was about. They believe that the jammer Yada Yada committed a back block against number 6 Herrera of Mexico, and so they're requesting that the referees issue a penalty.
So we'll have the result upcoming once the referees have discussed this. So again, just under 11 minutes to go. 96 to Sweden in the blue, 203 to Mexico in the red.
Oh, also, when I was talking to Herrera before the game, he said I should mention that back home he is known as G.I. Joel, because a lot of people back home might not recognize him as Herrera, unless they get a close-up of his face.
All right, so the head referee is now just about to explain to the bench and alternate managers, the bench coach and captains of each team, I should say, as and when that's done, he will tell us what's going on.
So back-to-back jams, back-to-back official review requests.
After review, it was determined that after any back block, the opponent was given the chance to reestablish position before any advantage was taken. With no advantage lost, no call was made.
Well, that's pretty clear. So they say, yes, the illegal contact was made. However, no advantage, therefore no impact, therefore no penalty.
So up to jam now on the Nerd Skates jammer line is number 7, Friedsen, up against number 22. That is Rockscar. Although we do have an issue at the minute. We've got, I think we'll have an official timeout. So we're still on the clock stop as the referees are discussing something with Pablex.
And what that looks like is Pablex may have fouled out. We can double check that, but right now Pablex it is being issued off of the track. Michael C. of Mexico moving in. Yes, we've got the confirmation. It was a foul out by Pablex, number 5. Michael C. serving the remainder of his penalty, but the jam is on. We had jammer on jammer contact. Rockscar taking Friedsen out of bounds, draws him halfway around the track. Nice bridging by the Mexico blockers.
I say that's good work as well. I say Rockscar goes down, he will go back on. No pass, no penalty. Friedsen does have lead jammer. So in this situation for Mexico, I like that play by Rockscar with the drawback. The clock is in your favor. You're winning the game. Clock management, time management, something always good to see.
That's right. Well, he could have drawn him a lot farther. I mean, I mentioned Mexico was bridging, but that was not necessary. Jammers are always in play with respect to each other. But, however, Rockscar did not, actually lost the advantage when Friedsen picked up a penalty, but Friedsen gets a forearm penalty, and now it's no longer lead jammer. 5 points for Rockscar, and we'll wait and find out how many points Friedsen scored on his first scoring pass.
So Rockstar is now on a roller derby athletics power jam. This jam will go for 2 minutes. Friedson had got lead jammer. Star passes that to Michael C.
And Michael C takes off, but no points because he did not have the star on his helmet until after he exited the pack. So he basically just took an extra lap.
So Friedson is now out of the box. He is on a scoring pass, remember. Ortega's also currently making his way to the box.
Mexico actually on their third scoring pass. However, that second scoring pass was a 0. But 5 points on the third scoring pass, and he goes for a fourth, knocked out of bounds by Nielsen, but comes back in. No pass, no points, no penalty.
No, satellite correction, sorry. Nielsen picks up the back block, so he does get the full 5. And Michael C, very, very aware, very smart there. Realized that the player that knocked him out was on his way to the penalty box, so he could just go back on.
So that was a 5-point pass on the scoring pass number 4. But a 15, it was 3 more dragged just under in the nick of time. Dragged in 18 points total for Mexico, 7 for Sweden.
So I just want to give a shout out to S1, who make high quality, well designed, highly functional helmets and knee pads, trusted by the pros. S1helmets.com.
No Modesty Blaze returning to the Nerd Skates jammer line and going against Carl LeFou of Mexico. Sweden in the blue, Mexico in the red, but no Modesty Blaze shakes off Lignan, who is covering the inside lane and takes lead jammer for Sweden, but Carl LeFou gets past the Swedish defense, both jammers moving into scoring position.
So no Modesty Blaze comes in, tries to pick up a couple of points quickly and call it off, just got the 1 point.
But no score for Mexico, so Sweden wins the jam 1-0.
Just want to know if it's been too far for you to come to Calgary this year, then why not host the 2018 Men's Roller Derby World Cup? Details are on our website. That's mrdwc.com. Hold it in your own backyard. If you like Bulldog and have a house big enough for that. I don't.
Yeah, if you can't bring yourself to the World Cup, bring the World Cup to you.
Exactly.
Some saying along those lines.
So we have number 16, Soy Tuparo, jamming for Mexico, up against 5'6" Sjöberg Olsen.
Olsen squeezed out of bounds by Party Boy, comes back in clean. Herrera, aka G.I. Joel, heading to the penalty box, but Olsen getting shut down at the front there. Vicious and Luis Navarrijo.
As well as Party Boy were in there as well.
Thank you.
You see, I saw the one that you didn't because you saw the 2 that I didn't. So that's teamwork. That's how you do it.
That's because you're as tall as a house.
It's not my fault everybody else stopped growing. We're going to have a roller derby athletics power jam, though, as Soy Tuparo has picked up a cut track.
Olsen getting forced back by Party Boy. But Party Boy picked up a penalty. Now it's a 3-on-2 pack advantage for Sweden.
Block to Watson as well. He's also on his way to the penalty box. And Vicious is going to get a track cut penalty, I believe. No, maybe not. Sjöberg Olsen is lead jammer, though, so he will see if he can pick up some more points on this roller derby athletics power jam.
Herrera returns to the track, so now 3-on-3 pack, but still the power jam. Olsen not getting anywhere with Herrera. Herrera matching him move for move all across the track, and now power jam and Soy Tuparo back on the track.
Soy Tuparo, of course, is still on his initial pass. Sjöberg Olsen is starting to rack up the points. Just to say that, Soy Tuparo finds the gap on the inside line, completes his initial pass.
Olsen gets some help from Nielsen, the pivot, but Luis Navarrijo and Vicious immediately get back in front of him. However, 5 points scored before the end of the jam by Olsen.
He's got the full 5. He have got hips in front of hips. So that makes the score 109 to 221 with 5.5 to go. So we have a final score from the other track. Scotland 187, Belgium 157. So Scotland will play the winners of this. Belgium will play the losers of this game tomorrow.
Next up on the Nerd Skates jammer line, Carl LeFou, number 164 for Mexico, against Yada Yada, number 4 for Sweden, who puts on the afterburners, gets by Lignan and his lead jammer, but there goes Carl LeFou. Let's talk about afterburners. He has closed the gap only about 3 strides behind. Yada, yada, but yada, yada. Here's the calls from his teammates. Calls off the jam just in the nick of time. Nothing for Mexico. And now a consult on the with the outside pack ref. Says 2 points for Sweden.
Don't forget, we're letting you choose one of our MVPs. This year's Quad Skate Shop team of the tournament will now include a fan favourite award as chosen by you. So be sure to check out our Facebook page and vote for your favourite. There is also, I think, there's 1 player or 2 players from every nation listed, but there is an option for you to add somebody else. As we go, Team Mexico will call a Quad Skate Shop team timeout.
I can't imagine that I'd get more kicks playing golf than I do hitting a An S1 is part of my uniform.
A clear path through the pack almost never exists. So we fight and make our own.
And we are back. Just a few minutes left to go. 4 minutes, 20 seconds on the period clock left in this game in Mexico with a 110-point lead. And the winner of this game moves on to the 9th place bout, and it looks like they will be playing against Power of Scotland for 9th place tomorrow.
And I say whoever comes up short in this will play off for 11th and 12th, and they will be going up against Team Belgium. So as and when we get back underway, 4 minutes, 20 seconds left to go. Number 16, Soitupero, will be up against number 7. That is Friedsen.
We've got 5 on 5 on the track. Empty penalty box.
Not anymore. It's not Soitupero's going for a track cut. He was taken out by Block to Watson, but it was Papa who dropped back and calls an ninja cut. Papa will also go to the box for that back block there.
And that track cut was just an inch or so past that line of no return. Had to take the extra lap. Papa also gets a penalty for Team Sweden, so they're down a blocker. But right now we're still on the roller derby athletics power jam. Friedsen getting ridden out of bounds.
Showing some great resiliency, not only almost riding the rail, but he's taken a couple of big hits this jam.
Comes back in clean.
In comes the offense. So Block to Watson and Darlene offering the offense, but Mexico wall moves very quickly to react to it. Mick Yeager trying to open up the outside line, but a take back. Again, oh man, as everything's happening in this jam, the Roller Derby Athletics Power Jam is over. Soitupero is back on and completes his initial pass, Bulldog.
Anyway, gets past Peter Dahlin, the last line of defense, completing the initial pass. So both jammers.
So Friedsen is still on his initial pass. He does have, if he does get through, lead is still open. Obviously, it can't go to Soitupero because he has picked up a penalty. Soitupero, a little hop over the inside to get past Papa, picks up 5 points.
He was tap dancing across the tape on that one, just barely staying in bounds. Nice footwork, and now wide open outside lane. That was beautiful. Carl LeFou actually screened to the inside, and all attention was focused on Friedsen. Soitupero, easy run up the outside lane. It's 10 points so far for Mexico. Third scoring pass, Mick Yeager catches Soitupero with a shoulder, sends him out of bounds, and time runs out. Friedsen will not complete his initial pass. 10 points for Mexico.
And Men's Roller Derby World Cup would like to acknowledge the contributions of the Alberta Sports Connection, which helped to make this event right here in Calgary, Alberta, Canada, possible. So as we're going down now, we are...
Yeah, there it is. I was looking for points on the last scoring pass. 2 points. 12-point jam for Mexico.
So if you're a fan on the gridiron, we've just gone past the 2-minute warning. And we have No Modesty Blazers at the back of the pack jamming up against Rockscar. And Rockscar's lead jammer.
He stumbles but does not go out of bounds. That was nice work by Nilf, but Rockscar gets out anyway.
So we have a misconduct penalty called on No Modesty Blaze. He has the star in his hand. That means, you know, Roller Derby Athletics Power Jam.
You know what they call that in Australia? Going commando. The star, taking the star.
Well, I know what they call it in Montreal. I know what they call this because this is a super jam.
of Roller Derby Athletics Super Jam. Well, we got Rockstar counter checking Nilf. Nilf getting the warning.
10 points and counting for Rockstar on this jam. Now there is more time on the jam clock than there is the period clock. This could be the last jam. Rockstar just saw Critson coming and managed to ride the rail on the outside. 5 more points for Mexico. Now Modesty Bays breaks out of the box. He does have the star in hand at the minute, but I don't believe the Mexican pack is full. Ooh.
There was a penalty. That was Nilf that actually, he basically fell over Michael C., who had fallen down. So that is a technical low block on Michael C. But we've got less than a minute, less than 30 seconds, as a matter of fact, in the game. And at the last minute, a cut track on No Modesty Blades. He returns to the penalty box, still commando.
So this game will now almost certainly finish on this Roller Derby Athletics Power Jam. No, it won't. Rockstar has got a cut track as well. So he will go and sit in the box.
That means this is the last jam. That jam clock will end the game.
In about 5 seconds, the period clock has expired.
No Modesty Blaze able to get back on the track, but to no effect. No points for Sweden.
And what is great to see straight away, as I'm sure you can see on the screen, high fives, hugs, the camaraderie that we've seen all event. It doesn't matter whether you're the #1 ranked team or the #20. Everybody, there has been the high fives, there's been the camaraderie, the respect, and as we're seeing right now from the Mexicans, big celebrations. You know how much this game means to them.
And they will be playing Power of Scotland tomorrow for 9th place, but a well-deserved celebration by those gentlemen in red from Mexico.
So the score is now final. Officially Sweden 1-1-1, Mexico 2-5-2. Okay, so we have Mexico and Sweden now just enjoying their celebrations. I believe it's 3 o'clock tomorrow that these teams will be back on track. You can check the schedule, excuse me, on the mrdwc.com website. Just to let you know, viewers at home, the stream will be reset after this game, but it will be back in time before the next game. Bulldog, what a pleasure that was calling with you, sir.
It was very nice to see you again and talk with you again, King Crazy. Great job by Mexico. They earned that victory, and it's going to be an interesting game, very interesting game when they play against Power of Scotland tomorrow for 9th place.